Cal Norman from the group Jagged Edge. You might know him as Quick, but from Jagged Edge, lived in Atlanta. I was a young kid. I was like 17 years old. I hung out for the first time and run around Atlanta with J.E. So I meet this girl who I thought was the most beautiful girl ever. I couldn't believe it. She gave me a number. I'm like, oh my God.
I have been practicing celibacy for 8 years now. It has led me to being consciously single. And I say consciously because I know what I'm doing.
You heard this young lady say that she's been celibate, self-proclaimed for 8 years, and it speaks to kind of the fallout from hookup culture, that many young ladies, they actually fall for these guys that they give themselves to in a very open way during these hookup culture periods. And traditionally what happened was, after that period, you look for a guy that's going to be a cleanup guy, and he's going to try and love you back to health and all that other stuff. But what we're seeing now is that disdain is kind of spilling over. And so young ladies are saying it's all guys that have to pay. And it goes back to a simple word that I think really needs to be dealt with in the modern vocabulary. And that word is should.
Oh my God, I'm talking to her all day. The next day she comes over. She's down. I'm staying at Cal's house. And she comes over. We come downstairs in the basement. We just talking. I'm just kind of getting to know her. Cal comes downstairs. He said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm just talking to Shorty." He said, you don't get to know her.
I have the intentions on saying no to others and saying yes to myself. Because when I say yes to myself, I'm saying yes to accountability. I'm saying yes to responsibility. And I'm saying yes to self-respect. And that is such a revolutionary act when you choose yourself.
After living overseas for as long as I have, I've had an opportunity to compare the standard black male behavior or the expectations of it to how other men behave. And one of the things that I've had the opportunity to compare is the idea of forgiveness, or basically the word should. We as black men have been socialized to be probably the most forgiving men on the planet. Guys that marry single mothers, guys that marry young ladies that cheated on them, all kinds of different things that may be an affront to your honor, but we've been taught that, you should look over it. You should give her another chance. And what's beautiful about social media is that it is illustrating how a group of men, in this case, black men that are very forgiving, need to relearn how to be a bit more like other men. And it's healthy for us.
What's up?
Hey, I just got your $30, and when you gonna send me the rest?
The rest of what?
The rest of the money.
What you mean? You said you were hungry. You need gas too?
No, I just want something to eat. That's why I'm confused on why you sent me $30.
Of course, this is most likely a skit, but what I think is really important about skits is that they illustrate a certain kind of behavior specifically for black men that younger guys can emulate. And it begins, again, with the word should. If you're being a gentleman and your young lady says she needs more money, you quote unquote should be a gentleman and give her what she wants. But for a younger and new group of guys that are learning to adapt to a new climate, it is these kinds of videos that illustrate the proper masculine way to deal with this.
I'm confused on why you calling me complaining about $30.
Cause what I'm gonna do with this? This is really bothering me because this girl made this video and said that if the dude that you talking to only send you $30 for lunch, that he don't really like you like that. And that's how. Did you just Oh, hell no.
When you say no to others and say yes to yourself, have the audacity to choose yourself, to put yourself on the top of the to-do list.
In my opinion, there are two things that are happening concurrently in the modern dating market. One, you have younger guys who are using social media to get a glimpse at the actual behavior of the young ladies that they would have previously seen as princesses, and realize that in the hookup era that many of these young ladies are participating in things that they don't see as very princess-like. And the other end of it is there's a group of women that either are engaging in this free culture and they may have regrets, and their way of trying to heal from it is focusing on what's going to make them personally happy, or it's just young ladies that are trying to find a way to wrap their head around what they've lost in that guys used to see women as these dainty romantic creatures, and that facade, I guess, is kind of fading away. You're seeing very interesting ways that young ladies are trying to capitalize on this. And sometimes it looks as simple as, I'm a lady. I deserve this. You should. That familiar word again.
Good afternoon.
Did you just hang up in my face?
Yes.
Why would you do that?
You calling me complaining about $30 because some random mentally unstable woman got on the internet yapping about how $30 ain't enough for food.
That's exactly what I did. She has some valid points.
You lucky I didn't block you.
But are you going to send me some more money?
Can you send me back the $30?
No. Why?
They said food is good for the brain, but you don't deserve to eat right now. So stop for a little bit and think about what you just said.
Skits like these are a good representation of the kind of masculine behavior that black men, in my opinion, need to exhibit, especially guys going overseas. One of the mistakes I think that we learn in the black culture is that we are supposed to forgive anything, that no mistake is too big to not forgive. But that's simply not the case in a lot of cultures, especially for men. If a man is in a certain situation and he takes a chance on a certain type of woman that may be outside of his class, if she does something that is affront to him, then he will not forgive it. It will be the straw that broke the camel's back, and she is done and there's no forgiveness. But that's a muscle that I think that we need to work on, because we live in this idea of you're supposed to forgive, like Jesus forgave whoever. Instead of what happens in most cultures when masculine men act and say, you broke the camel's back with that straw. We're done. A muscle that black men, in my opinion, need to learn and work on.
I don't need to wait on love because I am love. I operate from love. I don't need to wait on permission to be myself. I have taken my power back by being my own happiness.
I think in the new dating market for young guys, the reach back, as Accountable Commentary says, shout out to him, is going to get more fierce, and 4B might be a part of it. It's a public demonstration of chastity, like a born again, first timer. And this is going to be a part of the new dating discourse. I have forsaken myself with others for X amount of time. It's almost the same. You should forget about my past. You shouldn't judge me. And for guys trying to play in that market by the old rules, it's just an accident waiting to happen. And the reason why it's an accident waiting to happen goes back to the 112 story.
And he pulls his pants down and she starts topping him off. Then he starts, doing his thing with the girl right in front of me. And he's looking at me, he says, "This is not the type of girl you get to know." And I remember just being like, what the f is going on here? Like, she was just the sweetest chick on the planet, and got it popping right in front of me. Most beautiful girl that, at the time, that I had ever seen.
I think one thing that's looming in the future for many of these young ladies that participated in the free love dating market is they're going to be looking for all kinds of programs and coaches, etc., that are going to help them reclaim how they felt before they participated in the hookup culture. Or they're going to find people that are going to help them deal with the feelings they're dealing with of not looking for a life partner in their earlier years, and either dealing with the rage or the despair that comes from it. And to be frank with you, I think there's going to be a need for a lot of emotional labor, especially from quote unquote good guys. And one of the muscles that we haven't exercised in the black community, specifically as black men, is I don't have any emotional labor for you. I'm sorry, I ain't got it. I'm not trying to, no, whatever you dealt with in the past, that's your thing. To be honest with you, that's probably a skill that we probably should work on, because if you go overseas with a super forgiving attitude, you're going to be a sore thumb sticking out, because maybe if it's someone that has a very strong tie to you, but generally speaking, you got to stand on your laurels. And if you move off those laurels, young ladies overseas will pick up on it, and they'll do the same thing that women are doing in America. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. Catch you next video. Take care, guys.